Right then guys, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to try and talk you through the drop-off system just in case I do lose the coin toss, which more than likely I will, because I ain't very lucky when it comes to stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the splice what I've done and we're going to attach a quick link to it, just like that. Splice that end. Now that end now is we just pull the splice up over the front of the quick link, making sure that it don't come out of the gaps, or otherwise you'll get a looseness in it there. And then what we do then is we take this piece of lead core now and we pass it over the front of the lead. Now some of you will have seen this before, some of you may not. What I've been using as well as I've been getting them from every time I go down to Skegness I get them from a tackle shop. I really do like them, but I push inside. I still push tail rubber as well, and that gives you that. And what that does is it enables, once the fish has hooked itself and it shakes its head, which it will always be, it has to be fished from this end as it's not going to be fished as an helicopter rig. I just like I leave that on for the simple reason of, in case I ever do decide to go over to an helicopter rig, it's just a case of pulling that out and just switching it around really fast, and it's pretty much, it gives me options of fishing it in both styles then as a drop off or an inline. But at Ravensfield it will definitely be getting fish like that, because I will be dropping rigs in middle of pads, and I want my lead coming off the first opportunity it takes, and all it takes is a little lead shake from fish, comes automatically off and then another shake and the lead's off. It just leaves you with that. So it's a great way of doing it. Now it's the way I do it, it's a little bit, it's different to what you're gonna see most other people do it, and the reason that I do it different is because I don't want to lose the lead for no reason. It's alright, all these Alia Media and all them telling you to drop, and Danny Fairbrass telling you to drop lead, but leads aren't cheap. So I want this lead cut, hence that I have the tail rubber. This is the tail rubber, this small bit here is pushed inside this chod bead, and that gives me a far more it's far more solid. You see, pressure from this end pulling, it's going absolutely nowhere, but it's the minute the fish shakes its head, that happens. Now the minute that's caught up in anything, the lead comes straight off, and it gives you that. Now I will be using this at Bradley's as well, for the simple reason of it is, if anything, I think Bradley's is if I don't win the coin toss like I've said, then I will definitely be I will be fishing this, and I'm hoping I do win it, because it's going to be interesting to see Steve in that swim and see how he tackles it. You know what I mean? If he's been watching what I've been doing, he should have learned a bit from the mistakes that I've made through doing it. Now I do like snag fishing, I really do, honestly. It gives you a little bit more of it gives the fish a chance, and I like that about it. So that's the reason for that. But that is all about one rod, and that rod it will be placed underneath an overhanging tree that I thought were just kissing water. I thought it was just touching the water like that, and it's actually going into the water by a fair bit. But if you drop the lead about 12 inch away from that where it goes in, the minute that rod goes, and if you run to the rod and you pull it straight out, and the clutch is set tight, don't forget, there's no play in the clutch whatsoever. So the minute the fish picks the rig up, shakes its head, By the time it shook its head, I'm already onto the rod, and I've probably already done 3 turns on that reel. That's how close I'm sitting to the rods. And then it's just a case of pulling them out and keep pulling them out and pulling them out. Now, all that to me speaks more about your rigs than any other method of fishing that I do. It says if your rigs are effective, then you'll get them out. And every fish I hooked last time I went, I got them out of the snags. One was lost at the net through. It was just a hooking error. To be perfectly honest with you, it was just an error that really we should have sorted out between us. But it was lost at net, so it were only probably about £18. Other one I lost were probably about 20. Now that's the fish that I had. The smaller one on. That photos are on my page. That's the rig that I had it on last time I went, which is just chod rig, and I had it fishing on this, but I had the lead set up. So we're still with this, where it's if I don't want to fish it in that method, all it's a matter of doing is just pulling that out, taking that off the end, passing that through the centre of the lead, and then pulling that back into it, and then I'm fishing with a fixed lead that ain't gonna come off. But because the reason I like to do that with that small loop there is because I can put a small solid bag on the bottom of that with pellet, tie it onto this, and then with the hook link that I'm using, which was the hinge rig that I was using, I brought the hinge rig round and I just hooked it onto the bottom of the bag, and it's anti-tangle properties are brilliant, but it's definitely a way that I like fishing, and I like to fish. I'd say that it's probably 12. It's around about 3 foot of lead core, which is it's longer than probably a fair few people use it, but I know people that use it a lot longer than this. I know people that use it 12 foot long, so it is shorter than some, but some people only use what they call a fisher's length, which is probably about 12 to 14 inch of it. But I do like that method, and I definitely think that it's a winner on snaggy waters, especially in that swim, where I know if a fish picks that up, it's going to shake its head, that lead's going to reject, and then I know that then there's a good chance of me pulling it out of that cover. I far more chance. I've really thought about this session, to be honest with you. It's every fish I hook on this session, it's coming out, no doubt about it. And the whole point of this over tubing is the tubing from Cordra. I love the tungsten tubing from Cordra, I really do. It's heavy and it's nice. It's pretty solid. It doesn't break easily. But what I do like about lead core is it's abrasion resistant. You can rub that up and down a tree, and it takes some snapping. Now I have blobbed down here with super glue, just really to hold the lead core in place so it don't come out. But this lead core is actually ESPs, because I got fed up of corders. The lead kept coming through it, even though I was blobbing it kept coming through all the time, so I did away with that. Now I always splice them really small splice. I don't like to splice any bigger than that. I've just took the beads off that I had on. And I had them 2 beads on because I was fishing chod rig, like I said, and it did the business. It landed the fish, but it's too. If it goes a certain way with this rig, if the fish would have gone a certain way, then I honestly don't think I'd have got it out. It's I do like it. I do like chod fishing. I really do. It's chod fishing and inch fishing. They've resulted in about 99.9% of the fish I've had over the last 10 years have been either on the chod or with a boom on that, and that's giving you then the inch rig. But I do like the same material, the mouth trap. I do like a boom out of mouth trap, which is the original hinge rig. It's a lot of people now use the M trap soft and M trap semi safe as the boom, but you will not get a better rig than this if you use the mouth trap material as the boom as well. It's pretty much tangle. You will never get a tangle with it. It's the minute it lands, everything just kicks away from everything else because of the stiffness of it. It's a really stiff material, and it never goes back on itself. Now it's a really easy rig to tie, chod rig. It's not difficult at all. If you're new to it, then I would definitely get a crimp set. It makes it far easier to do, and if you crimp them right, it's really neat. And mouth trap, and also the RM Tech from Ridge Monkey really does hold its strength with crimps, so it is well worth doing that. But it's going to be interesting. Now I'm hoping I do get the other swim, which is away from the snags, because it'll be a change to fish a swim away from them snags. And I've got a fair few rigs tied up here that I'm going to be definitely going to be using. So I'm going to be using more than likely the one that I tied over there with a gardener hook, and I'll be fishing that directly off the bottom of this with a solid bag attached. And so that's just a quick one on that. That's the drop off in line. All you're left with is the fish then plays itself on that, which is I've known this even cause you problems before, but if the fish does get snagged up in any way, it's getting rid of that, and the uplink will give long before anything else does, long before the lead core goes. I don't really like using lead core in a situation where there's a massive chance I'm not going to get them out of there, but the fish aren't that big in the place I'm fishing, and if I'm using heavy line, I'll get them out of there no problem. So I'm fishing safe, effective, and I thought about what I'm doing, so I should be able to get them out with that. But I just thought I'd show you that. And then I always just do them nice and neat like that into my box, and then they're ready to go. The other thing as well is I've been using bike leads on there a lot, and the thing what I've noticed about bike leads on there is because you're coming off your rod tip and you've got your bike lead coming down at that angle and then out to your rig, this play here is probably 4 foot, well, probably 6 foot, including the drop from your rod tip and then the 4 foot of depth in margin. You're talking 6 foot. Now the minute the fish picks that rig up and shakes its head, if you're not on your rod the instant that you hear that first bleep and you've got your rod and you're straight onto it and you're pulling it out, then they've got that 6 foot of play. So never ever forget that if you're fishing with bike leads. It's something that I picked up on last session, and the minute I've sussed out it, I took the bike leads off, because I didn't want them having that 6 foot of play of where they were picking the rig up, shaking their heads, and then they got that play from the rod tip to the bike lead. They got that bit of play in the line where they could shake their head and then run fast towards it, whereas a tight line going out to it with just a right little bit of slackness, just so you know your rig's sat nicely on the bottom, so they've only probably got about 12 inch of play. It gives you a far better opportunity at getting them out faster, and it gives them less line to play with, if you get what I mean. Because let's not forget as well that you've got that 6 foot, and then you've also got the stretching the line, which if you've ever tied a line to somewhere that's probably, even if it's like 20-25 foot away from you and it's mono and you pull it, you will see how much stretch there actually is in that line. There's a fair bit, so you've got to take that into account. And also, and once I trust all this, I got them out no problem. So it's just, I hope you find something interesting from this, guys. I'll check later.